Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Sales Mindset TV show. I'm Chris Edwards, and I'm here with Steve Knapp.
Hi Chris, hi everybody.
Okay, so last week kind of went a bit chaotic with the posts that we got, the comments that we got back.
It did. You started some fights out there.
We did. Who knew that cold calling could be, I don't know, so...
divisive.
Yeah. But yeah, it really did. So this week we're going to pick up on it, as I mentioned to you guys that we would, into post-call reporting.
Yeah.
Because you finally made those cold calls, you've done them all, you've finished, and then you're like, oh, right, on to the next. That went all right. And you haven't wrote down what you've just said, or what they've just said, or what's just happened.
Yep.
And you've got no follow-up.
Yeah.
As we mentioned, even a rejection, there's still an opportunity to have a follow-up.
Yeah. I've seen many a good opportunity be messed up because the seller hasn't taken the time to use some very simple template that we've got the download for, and you've got access to that in the blog, the post-call report, to actually just write down those key and pertinent points. And they've missed some of the richness of the conversation, and they have missed, because they haven't written it down, the ability to reconnect to that as they go forward.
I think I mentioned this in a previous video in which we made a while back, a few months back, but I once got a cold call, a follow-up. So I said to this guy, I'm not interested at the moment. I haven't got time. I'm off to a Gary V convention.
I think.
And he followed up about 2 weeks later and opened up with a Gary V line.
Yeah.
And in fact, I was taken back. I was like, what?
Yeah.
And he went, Gary V, I've been researching him. I never knew about him before you mentioned. And he actually took my personal information, everything I said in that call, even though I rejected him, did some research for a follow-up.
Yeah. No, I mean, without doubt, the personal connection that creates, and the deliberate connection that individual made back to you in that conversation kind of makes the sales process more personal, effective, because we're not going back through old territory, right? We're not having to re-establish rapport. We're not having to go back to previous conversations, because the fact that you're able to use some notes or document to immediately hit the right spot is a great sales technique.
Yep. And it's also planning the next steps with them, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because I rejected that guy, but he said, look, I'll give you a call in a few weeks. How long do you need? And I said, a few weeks. He goes, I'll give you a call in a few weeks. Yeah. And actually I thought, I need to do something before accepting that call, and I have a few weeks to do it.
Yeah.
So the impetus was on me as a buyer as well to get something done.
Yeah. No, I mean, I very often at the end of a call would say something very similar. Not to say I'll call you in 2 weeks if you just told me you don't want to speak to me again, but I would say, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in the post to you just an overview of the conversation, summary of the conversation we had, the 2 or 3 points we discussed that you found of interest. I'll add a blog, or I'll add some kind of reference document, and then I will call back in 2 or 3 weeks if that's okay with you.
Yeah.
And I would just have some way of capturing that in my note. As I close out the conversation, I would write down all that I committed to. I then take the action of sending that follow-up documentation, schedule the call in 2 or 3 weeks. You got my blog, anything in there that interested you.
Yeah. So what would be your top tip overall?
Well, I think the top tip is just have the presence of mind to have a template in front of you when you're making that call.
And they can download the template from the blog, can't they?
It's there.
Off of your website.
It's there. And the piece that people miss doing, you might scribble it down in your book. You might scribble some bits down, bullet point sentences. But if you use the document, you're able to structure the notes to make them useful for the next time. That will be the top tip.
Brilliant. Well, that's all we've got time for today. We are going to come back with another video, just one more this week, talking more about post-call reporting and the next steps after you've done your warm calls. But for me and Steve, that's all we've got time for today. We hope you're having a great week, and see you again.